either younger than us or, passed and retired. So why not? I want to challenge myself. The best always looking to fight the best and challenge themselves, and why not, challenge.
Terence Crawford can't beat him, right? This is a money grab for Terence Crawford. It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy.
But if you study Floyd closely like I have, you will notice that he never wastes.
A major debate is growing across the boxing world as fans and experts question whether Terence Crawford can eventually challenge Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s legacy. Crawford has built his career by taking on difficult opponents across multiple weight classes, earning praise for his adaptability, ring IQ, and willingness to take risks. Some analysts believe he combines the strategic brilliance that made Mayweather great with a more aggressive fighting style. However, others argue that his legacy will be defined by continuing to face elite competition rather than pursuing exhibition-style events. As Crawford adds more impressive victories to his resume, the discussion continues to intensify. Could he become one of the few fighters ever mentioned alongside, or even above, Mayweather in boxing history?
Businessman talking, right? They got to pay the cheddar to make it better, right?
For sure. All money ain't good money, so you got to know that.
Okay, fair enough. I hate to use the word easy, but at times it did feel like you were, having a really easy time out there. Were you expecting it to play out that way?
Listen, it's never easy.
When someone with Stephen A. Smith's experience praises Terence Crawford's accomplishments, it carries significant weight. He highlighted Crawford's achievement of capturing world titles across 4 weight divisions, a feat that remains extremely difficult in modern boxing, where many fighters prefer to stay in one class to avoid added risks. Crawford has consistently proven that moving up in weight does not diminish his effectiveness, continuing to defeat top-level opponents wherever he competes. According to Stephen A., Crawford's combination of versatility, power, and skill places him among the greatest pound-for-pound fighters ever. Beyond physical ability, his success reflects elite ring intelligence, strong mental discipline, and a willingness to pursue the toughest challenges available. In his view, those qualities make Crawford one of the best fighters in the world today.
Is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab. He used his distance. He had poise in the ring. He wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, masterful fight.
Roy Jones Jr., a boxing icon who understands better than most the challenges of succeeding across multiple weight divisions, has praised Terence Crawford's intelligence inside the ring. Discussing a potential matchup involving Canelo Alvarez, Jones noted that Crawford possesses a rare ability to study previous fights and apply valuable lessons from them. He pointed to the approaches used by Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara against Canelo, explaining that Crawford can analyze different strategies and adapt them to his own style. According to Jones, Crawford's awareness and decision-making elevate him beyond pure athletic talent, making him one of boxing's most cerebral competitors. Rather than simply copying what worked for others, Crawford modifies those ideas to match his own timing, speed, and instincts, creating solutions that are uniquely his. Jones believes this adaptability is one of Crawford's greatest strengths and a major reason he continues to succeed against elite opposition.
People like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier and more meaner than both of those guys. So if they showed you blueprint, Bud gonna go out there, take that blueprint and do even more with it, which is what Bud did. So it was never a question in my mind whether Bud really was going to outbox me, it's just if he could take the punch. And right away he showed, bam, he could take the punch. So I knew from that point, if he just slow him down, which he did, he'd be okay. Then late in the fight, what other people still didn't see, late in the fight, Bud started hitting Canelo's body. One of those body shots, I think about the 7th or 8th round, hurt Canelo. I was like, whoa. Bud hit him in the right spot then. He got Canelo's respect with that too. So Bud fought a very, very awesome fight, fought a beautiful fight, very tactical.
Very controlled.
Yes, it was a beautiful fight for boxing.
It was a beautiful fight. You know, Bud got hit with some shots.
He did. He got
hit with some single shots going out. You know, he's going out and you know Canelo, if he has you trapped in the corner or along the ropes, it's typically 1 to 2 big shots. You know that if you've watched him.
Yep.
So you could tell Crawford, as he was going out, he knew the one shot was coming, and several times it landed. He even got hit with a 2-piece. I don't remember what round it was, uppercut right hand that Crawford took well. So when you started seeing him absorb the shots, if you're Team Crawford, you don't want him to take that shot. But if you started seeing that, now you know that, okay. And I think that's what gave Crawford the green light to stay there a little bit longer.
He smiled about it.
Yeah. And sometimes that smile can be a lie. And sometimes that smile can mean what I think it meant for Crawford, which is, oh, that's not.
Possibility of Terence Crawford sharing the ring with Floyd Mayweather, even in an exhibition setting, has sparked intense debate among boxing fans. Some critics believe a matchup like that could raise questions about Crawford's long-term legacy, arguing that showcase events may distract from the achievements that have already defined his career, including major victories over elite opponents such as Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez. They feel that pursuing a high-profile payday could be viewed differently than continuing to chase meaningful competitive challenges. These concerns have grown because many of Mayweather's recent appearances have been exhibitions rather than traditional career-defining bouts. On the other hand, Crawford's supporters argue that his place in boxing history is already secure and that a meeting with Mayweather would simply add another memorable chapter to an already remarkable career.
It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy. This is what was being said, right? This is what people perceived. Terence Crawford was just attempting to.
Comparisons between Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford often lead to some of boxing's most debated discussions. Supporters of Mayweather point to his victories over many of the sport's biggest names, while critics argue that the timing of certain matchups played a role in preserving his undefeated record. They frequently mention that Canelo Alvarez was still developing when he faced Mayweather, and note the circumstances surrounding Floyd's long-awaited bout with Manny Pacquiao. Questions have also persisted because several anticipated rematches never materialized. Crawford's career is often viewed differently, with many fans believing he has consistently faced elite opponents at or near their peak and delivered some of his most dominant performances against them. As a result, the debate continues over whether Mayweather's perfect record was built purely on unmatched ability or aided by strategic timing and careful opponent selection.
Greater than Terence Crawford. We need to really talk about this now. A lot of you guys are putting Crawford a bit too high. If you want to say Crawford could beat Floyd, I'm more open to that conversation, but when you're lining up the careers, I'm gonna say Floyd every time. While they're both 5 division, Bud has become 3-time undisputed, but he's only fought 10 world champions to Floyd's 25 world champions. You can't take away the 5 division, 3-time undisputed. In terms of accolades, yeah, he probably gets the nod over Floyd. I say their accolades are about relative, considering Floyd Mayweather won Fighter of the Decade as well. But when you get to the resumes, Pacquiao, Oscar, Canelo, Cotto, Mosley, Castillo, Marquez, Zab, Gotti, Hatton, and Corley. There's probably way more people that this guy just didn't name. And then when you get to Bud's resume, not saying it's just bad, but the only names that's really worth mentioning is going to be Spence and Canelo. It's not a knock on Bud. Bud was not able to make those fights early on in his career. But I got to tell you guys what it is. Bud's resume just doesn't line up with Floyd's. Take their top 20 wins. Bud don't even got 20 wins to really sit here and name. Floyd got a good 20-something plus. Bud probably got about 10 wins that we could really sit here and name. Floyd.
Jeff emphasized that Floyd Mayweather's greatest advantage was often his mindset and confidence. According to him, Mayweather entered every fight convinced that no opponent could outthink or outmaneuver him inside the ring. That belief, combined with his exceptional ring intelligence, frequently gave him an edge even in closely contested bouts. Floyd was known for making adjustments on the fly, staying composed under pressure, and using both his technical skills and mental sharpness to remain a step ahead of his opponents. Jeff noted that this combination of psychological control and precise execution made Mayweather one of the most difficult fighters in boxing history to defeat, ultimately helping him retire with an undefeated record. He also stressed that elite fighters must constantly seek improvement, regardless of their success. Mayweather embodied that mentality, focusing entirely on victory and refusing to entertain thoughts of defeat. His confidence was so strong that he often visualized success before the fight even began, approaching every challenge with the expectation that winning was the only possible outcome.